I'm here in the beautiful city of Terracini, and I'm here to visit Il Bavallino. It's a Michelin star restaurant headed by Chef Giuseppe Costa. What we're going to be doing today is akin to an editorial magazine shoot. Now, a magazine shoot could take on a number of features. It could be one photo at the head of the story. It could be a multiple image narrative, or it could be a photo essay. We're gonna capture enough photos today to do any of those, but with the explicit idea that we're gonna be doing a multiple image narrative for a magazine. So stay with me, we're gonna have a lot of fun, we're gonna get to meet the chef, and you're gonna see how beautiful his food really is. So chef, how did it make you feel to earn that Michelin star? It must have been such an honor.
Ma avere la stella Michelin è una grande responsabilità. Noi dobbiamo tutti i giorni pensare a portare a tavola qualcosa di importante.
I know you have something exciting planned, so what's next?
Le grandi novità saranno che ci trasferiremo dalla location che è già esistente in una nuova location più suggestiva, con l'idea di raggiungere i grandi risultati, perché vogliamo ambire a qualcosa di più importante, no?
I can't wait to see it.
Grazie, grazie mille.
As part of our multiple image narrative here in editorial magazine work, it's important to start to connect the story to what is at the heart of this restaurant and Chef Costa, which is this farm to table aesthetic. The food gets delivered in the morning. It is super fresh, straight from the farm. This is a part of the narrative, where the food begins and where it ends up. So what I want to do at this point is capture Chef interacting with this food. He's checking it, making sure it's right for what he needs to do in the restaurant, and that's going to be an integral part of our story because everything has to be perfect at Il Bavallino. I've already created a frame for a portrait, but what I want to do is sort of a hybrid portrait. I want to do a portrait of him doing his job. I don't want him looking at my camera, so it's a bit of a sort of reportage portrait. So I'm going to frame here, and I'm gonna go over to portrait mode. And I'm gonna stay at the 1x lens and have beautiful natural light in here. And then I will jump in tight to the 3x lens and watch until he's doing something I feel is interesting for the camera that tells our story. The idea that perfection at Michelin star restaurants is part of the whole aesthetic of what's happening here is that every single ingredient needs to be perfect. So if I get him here with that really intense look on his face as he's working, we get a sense of how important every bit of this is to him. Chef, I would love for you to pose for me now. Is that okay?
Yes.
He knows how to pose for the camera. He's got his food, he's got his kitchen, he's in his happy place, and this is a great place to be. So I'm into that phase of my storytelling where I'm just gonna interact with whatever's happening in front of me. This is a working kitchen. There's so much story happening here. So I'm gonna just continually move around, let people do what they're doing naturally, and try to capture as much as I can. So I'm gonna get Chef in action here, straight down the line. He's doing some work here, but then he's gonna work his way over to the stove. And I wanna be able to utilize a couple of different elements here. Now, obviously, I want this special, talented human being in my shots, even if it's just his hands. But then I also wanna utilize this beautiful window light that's coming through here that's backlighting everything I can shoot. So I wanna get right to it. He's delicately making these vegetables that are going to be part of this dish that he's going to show us, and being able to kind of demonstrate that delicacy is really nice. His hands placing things with all this beautiful context in the background is really giving us a beautiful start to this cooking process. I'm in this position because I know that things are going to be happening really quickly. Lots of context in the background at 1x. Now I'm going to jump in for this and get right on top. There it is at 3x. So by having a chance to capture this entire process and a lot of the action that's happening in this kitchen, I feel like I got that part of the coverage of my magazine story. But I have an opportunity here that is very rare. It's to be able to shoot a beauty shot in the kitchen. I have a beautiful marble tabletop here, which is part of the prep area, the sauce that's left over from our glazing, and the finished dish. This is it. This is all right here just for me. While I'm here, I can absolutely grab a beauty shot, which is so unique. I want to get the context of the edge of the plate so we can show that it's plated food. And I'm going to do this vertically as well. And I'll catch the back of the plate this time. Put my focus on that food in the center. That's my hero. Really beautiful. Now I'm going to try something. Maybe they won't mind. I'm going to create a little bit of a scene here, just like that. And that gives me a whole nother bit of the story. So next I'm going to have the chance to check out Chef Costa's new space, which is a work in progress, but nonetheless, amazingly beautiful. So let's go together and see what this new space is going to be all about. I'm here on the rooftop of the new Il Bavallino space, and we are overlooking both the mountains and the sea. It is a special place. I've picked out 3 locations to shoot 3 different ways. One in shaded light with a beautiful vista, one in completely shaded light that I can shoot from the top, and one shooting out into the sea in high light. So we're gonna make all 3 of those shots with their beautiful signature dishes, and I can't wait to get started. So come on, let's get going. I have this window opening here that looks right out into the sea, and I have our first dish placed here. What I would like to do is turn my camera upside down. By being closer with the lensing, that gives me the opportunity to get both. It's a little bit of a tricky balancing act here, and I have these grout lines on the wall that are helping me align my plate so everything is level. But remember, we always have options in post-production to make any of those little fixes that we might want to make. I'm going to move out into the window a little bit, and this is going to change the lighting on the food. It's going to make it a little bit more consistent with the background. I'm going to draw my exposure down just a little bit. It's really good. My second shot, I'm using these terracotta tiles on the floor for 2 reasons. One, it's a really natural, beautiful part of this scene, but also this wall is providing me with a lot of shade. So I have a nice shady area here to work in right out of the direct sun, but then I want to add a little directionality to it. So I brought in a black card to add some depth to that drop shadow. I also have this really nice geometric pattern that's happening in the triangle sort of diamond shape, and I want to use that in my shot. As I use those geometric shapes, it gives me some really nice opportunities. I'm gonna make a couple of more shots here. I wanna get really tight inside the bowl. I'm also casting my own shadows, and you can see me there. You see my fingers waving? So I wanna bring my arm back. I'm gonna hide my body sort of behind the food, so I'm ducking down a little bit. So I'm gonna get a little closer, fill up the whole frame, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm trying my best not to create too many shadows. Look at this set. This might be the best backdrop I've ever shot against. So I have this beautiful dish. We found this amazing surface right here on this roof. We propped it up here, and now I have the actual Mediterranean Sea as my backdrop. And if you look at this food, you can see how the light is penetrating through those beets. I also maybe want to move it out a little bit into the corner. Look at this, the sun glistening off the Mediterranean Sea, and it almost looks like an infinity pool. And I'm gonna try to get in and get that light penetrating right through in a beautiful close-up here. And that shimmer that's happening off of the liquid at the bottom of this dish. I'm gonna go upside down and get really close. And I still have the sea in the background. This beautiful juxtaposition of the water and this beautiful liquid at the bottom. If I go all the way out to the edge, check it out. Look at that sun. I'm really, really proud of what we've been able to do today, and hopefully you can take these lessons, and if these situations arise for you, you know exactly how to handle them. Step by step, do your planning, communicate, and you too can make the photos that are necessary to make an amazing narrative story for magazines.